Hello all, welcome to TechChunk, and this is an introductory course on computer architecture. So first we'll be seeing what all we will be covering in this course. We'll be first starting with basics. In this basics, we'll be looking at the different architectural models which are involved, followed by which we'll be looking at different components which make up a computer. And then we'll move on to a short introduction on memory, which is a very important device when it comes to CPU. And then we'll be looking at different CPU registers. This will involve the special purpose registers, which will be covered in the CPU. And then we'll be looking on to what are micro operations. Sorry, this got misstated. Uh, So in the basics, we'll be covering all these things, and then we'll be moving on to the instructions. Here we'll be looking at instruction encoding, followed by the basic instruction cycle, and then we'll be going on to various addressing modes which are involved in instruction decoding. After this, we'll be moving to the CPU. First, we'll be looking at some metrics, and then we'll be looking at what is an ALU, followed by which we'll be going on to the data path and control unit inside the CPU. Under this control unit, we'll be looking at three types of control units, which are going to be hardware control unit, microprogram, which is predominantly used nowadays, and then finally nano program control units. This will conclude CPU chapter, and then we'll be moving on to peripheral devices. So these are basically the I/O and memories which are connected external to the CPU. Here we'll be first looking at how they are going to be interconnected with the CPU, followed by which we will be seeing at the accessing modes in which the CPU access these I/O devices. And then we'll be having a detailed discussion on interrupts here. Then we will be moving on to a very broad chapter called the memory. Under this memory, first we'll be looking on some basic types of memory such as RAM, ROM, DRAMs, just a short introduction. And then we'll be also covering associative memory. These associative memories are very extensively used in caches. That's why we'll be looking at this associative memory part too. And then we will be moving on to the main motto of this memory, which is the caches. We'll be spending quite a lot of time in caches. Here we'll be looking at the different cache access types. Then we'll be moving on to the replacement policies in caches, and then we'll study extensively on cache mapping. Uh, we'll be seeing the different types of cache misses. Then we'll also be seeing the inclusion and exclusion cache policies. This will cover the basics of cache, and then finally we'll be moving on to parallel processing. Here first we'll be covering the introduction to pipelining, and then we'll do a short performance modeling on this pipelining model. Then we'll see a basic five-stage pipeline. We'll also be covering the different type of hazards which we'll be seeing in this basic five-stage pipeline. And then finally, we will conclude this course with introduction to nonlinear pipelines. So this is going to be the full structure of this course. In this, we'll be also solving different practice problems to grasp the understanding which we have gotten from the course. And this course will be enough for you to get started on a computer architecture. We'll be covering some advanced topics in caches and parallel processings too. So yeah, and also one thing to notice, this content is will also be enough for your grade preparation. Thank you. We'll see you in the next video.